It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas, and we have wonderful guests. And today we're going to talk about New Earth or Bust. Are you ready? And I have with me today the wonderful Miss Kimberly Palm. Let me bring her on. Welcome, Kimberly.
Hi, Gail.
So good to see you.
How's it going
So
this
good to see
morning? You had a bad storm yesterday.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there was tornado warnings, but we didn't see a tornado or anything, but we got a lot of rain. It's been getting a lot of rain here lately, it seems. But anyway, and they were chemtrailing. I
Yeah,
guess
they
we're supposed to be
chemtrailed here really
reporting that
bad
now.
yesterday. I couldn't believe how bad they chemtrailed us yesterday. They chemtrailed us in the morning and then again later in the day. It just blows my mind. Now they're like doubling down on the chemtrails.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll get taken down too. That's the other thing that's supposed to happen. We'll see. There's a lot of talk. I want to see some real action.
Yeah, there's lots of talk about everything and no action on anything. I haven't actually seen results of any action, to be honest. About the only action I've seen is all of the gang members from Venezuela or wherever getting hauled out of here. That's like about the only thing I visually have seen, like they do where they do something about it, and then of course we had Doge uncover all that money that was stolen from us, but I haven't really seen any of the other things happen. Like nothing.
There's been a lot of talk, hearsay, and lies, I guess, is what it boils down to. And it gets to be difficult to discern what is true and what's not true, and what's coming from the white hats, coming from the black hats, and where are we? I mean, it's pretty confusing.
Yeah.
Someone's got a question already, and she could be right. This could be a good question. Do you think it's more to hide something? Distractions. Yes, that's always a possibility.
Yeah.
Because I saw a clip where Trump actually indicated something regarding a flash. Did you see that?
No.
It was surprising. I wish I had it handy, but I don't. So, but anyway,
is that where he said in a flash something blah 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 blah? I think he said in a flash blah 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 or something like that. But I don't remember.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I'd have to hear it again too. So to be sure.
Well, the chemtrails are not for hiding something, because I check in with the chemtrails. They spray over my house all the time, and they ruined my vegetable garden last year because it puts boron, mercury, aluminum, and and parasites and all this shit all over. And I had like a thick layer of shimmery metallic gross stuff all over my vegetable garden, so I know that what they're spraying is really bad, and it's poisoning all the animals, the birds, the bees. We have like no bees anymore. They're killing all the bees. And if you watch the Disney or Pixar bee movie, you know that when the bees are all dead, the humans go next, because it's all the cycle of life. We need them because they are the ones that provide us with our food source, right? Provide us with all the fruits and vegetables and things that we need to survive on this earth. And if the bees die, all that dies with it, and then a whole cycle of life, because all of the birds and other things that feed upon the nectar of the flowers and all that kind of thing. So it's kind of scary. But, yeah.
So we got another question right out the gate here, so I might as well throw it up there. If Tartaria stayed in Europe, what exactly are the ruins all over America about discovered and discussed during the 1800s?
Okay, so Tartaria was only in Europe. It was only a section of Europe, because if it was here in America, you would have all those really cool looking cathedrals like they have in Europe and everything, and buildings that they
Super,
have there.
yeah.
You'd have them all over the United States everywhere if it was here. It wasn't here. But what is going on with uh, let's see, the ruins that they're finding go back way before Tartaria. You have to understand, okay? Like I have ruins here that are from Atlantean and what's that called? Lemurian times. We have ruins that are thousands and thousands of years old here. These predate Tartaria. Tartaria was a pretty recent thing. The ruins that we have, like pyramids that are all over the world, were all built by the Anunnaki, and it was all part of a grid system. And they're all connected. The ones in Mesoamerica, the ones in America, and then just all these different like pyramid kind of structures that are everywhere in the world. Those were built way before any Tartaria time period. Those were built thousands of years ago by the Anunnaki. And they have healing capabilities. They have stargates inside of them that you can travel to other, universes and places. And they also are power generators. So, yeah.
Hmm. Well, here's another one. Do you mind taking questions, or do you want to?
I can take some
I was
questions,
wondering
but I
before we
really
take
want
the
to
next.
talk about. I want to talk about a lot of, a lot of other stuff. So somebody said, "What about the Canadian Parliament building?"
Yeah.
Well, let's ask. So first of all, I'm going to ask that Gail and myself are surrounded and protected with a 12th dimensional shielded protection from Archangel Michael and our guardian angels and Mother, Father, God. Across all time, space, place, dimension, realm, reality, and universe, I ask for everybody who is watching this video, whether it's now live or in the future with the recording, that you are also shielded and protected, as well as our computers, our Wi-Fi, all our electronic devices. And I call in my Christed family. I call in my guides and angels to assist me here today. Call in my brother and sister, Miriam and Yeshua, to help me out here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so let me ask about the building in where is it? It's the Canadian
I took it
Parliament
down. The
building.
Canadian.
So is the Canadian Parliament building, and where is it? Is it in Toronto? Is it in the one on Vancouver Island, or not Vancouver Island? What is it? Yeah, Vancouver Island, or which one? Because there's a huge fancy Parliament building on Vancouver Island that I visited many times in Victoria, British Columbia. Victoria, British Columbia has got some really cool buildings there. Let's see. Okay. Let me see. Let me ask. Is the Canadian or any of the Canadian Parliament buildings, let's ask it this way, are any of the Canadian Parliament buildings part of the Tartarian period or the Tartarian Empire? No. Okay, this is what I heard in my head. What they were saying just now is what they said. Let me try to articulate it, because the way they speak and the way I speak are different. So I've got to kind of articulate it. What they're saying is we do have a few buildings in the United States of America that are kind of sort of modeled or copied after that style. It was copied after some of the style of Tartaria, but it isn't Tartaria itself. Tartaria was actually an entire section of Europe. It was took over like a large amount of Europe. And it was not US. However, in the US, we did have a whole time period where we had like moving walking pathways and flying things that you could not even imagine. And they did a reset and they wiped everybody's memories. And that was before World War II happened. Okay. And before World War I. It was before World War I or World War II, and they did a reset on that. They've done several resets. They did the mud flood thing, and then they've done it like multiple times to us. Every time we advance, they set us back.
I think this is the seventh one that they're attempting to reset us with again. 6 or 7, something like that. That's what does Yeshua say about the new earth and how?
So, you mean what's it going to be like, or
how are we going to get there? Are we looking? It's just a frequency change, I assume. But
yeah. So let's explain it.
What is?
Let's explain it to everybody, and I want to break it down bit by bit today for everybody who's new, and just as a reminder for the people who already have been listening to me for a long time. So if you read my book Ascension 101, and that kind of gives you a little bit of the background of why we're going through this period of time right now and where we're heading and all that. But Yeshua calls it New Shambhala. And it's basically heaven on earth. And only as of right now, this moment, only 30% of the world population will be sticking around for that. The other 70% are out of here. Why? Because that 70% are pedophiles, rapists, narcissists, murderers, killers, thieves, mean, nasty people, fear-based people, light workers even whose contracts are done. I mean, I have a lot of light workers who are passing away like crazy because their contract's done. Their time is up. When your number's up, you got to go. That's what my dad used to say. When your number's up, you got to go. But, there's a lot of people that are leaving. And so what is happening is there are 3 ways that they are processing souls as they're leaving the planet. One way is through Ezekiel's ship. Another way is a total obliteration. If they're evil, if they're really, really, truly evil, like these are people who keep recycling back into bodies with their memories and mass murdering children over and over again, like all of these reptilians, these Draco. I don't know if you all know, but Draco reptilians, they don't have their minds wiped like we do when they come into a body. When they come into a body like Hillary Clinton and those kind of people, when they come into a body, they remember who they were before, and they know they're here to destroy humanity, and that type of thing. So, they know exactly what they're doing, and then our memories get wiped. We go through the veil of forgetfulness because we were stuck in a false matrix for 26,000 years that we were stuck in that false matrix. But what we're doing is New Earth is going to be here. Anybody who tells you that you are leaving the planet for New Earth is lying to you. The other Earth that they've created is a third density kind of a prison planet in a way. It's another third density copy of the Earth where all of the fear-based people who aren't ready to ascend. So all the people who are heavily indoctrinated into radical religious beliefs, like the Sharia law people, the really radical Christian people who tell you, oh, everybody's going to hell unless they go to my church. Those people, a lot of them are leaving. Even the radical Jewish people, whatever religion, people who are brainwashed into radical religions, who are very fear-based, like they really believe that they should kill you because you're not part of their religion. I have the right to kill you because you're an infidel, because you're not part of my religion, or I can rape you, or I can do this and that to you. Those people are all out of here. The only people, which is 30% of the population that will be back staying here on the earth, are people who can vibrate and listen closely. People, listen closely. Attention. You have to be vibrating at 528 hertz frequency, which is love and above. What does that mean? That means you have to be loving, kind, compassionate, and respectful to yourself first, and then to everyone else on the planet. And if you cannot do that, you're out of here. Okay, that's number 1. All right. So the people who are leaving are the people who are mostly service to self. They're narcissistic, or they're sociopaths or psychopaths, like I said, killers, thieves, rapists, demons. All the demons are out of here. The ghosts are going to be out of here. Anything that is low vibration or lower density is going to be out of here. Okay. The only beings that get to stay here are people who can be loving and kind and live in unity consciousness. People who can work with their neighbors and not compete with their neighbors. They are the ones who are going to stay here. Huh?
I was just
What?
going to say competition is a bad thing. Competition.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. Okay. So now, once you are, let's say you're somebody who's staying here because you're 51% or more service to others. You have to be 51% or more service to others. Can't be service to self, me all the time. I'm 100% service to others. That's all I've done my whole life is help people since I was a little child. I mean, literally, since I was a little child, all I do is help everybody I can help wherever I can help them. It's all I do. I've just dedicated my whole existence to helping people. So, anyways, somebody said China's population's going down. They saw a video. Did you see the one about Italy? 80% of the towns in Italy are abandoned. 80%. They said they're claiming
it's 80%.
Yeah, that's what they put in the mainstream news, that 80% of villages in Italy are completely abandoned, and they're blaming it on low birth rate. Low birth rate. I think a lot of the people have been dying off because they were the first country to get jabbed with the pokey. They were the first ones to get that, and they got one of the worst ones, and they had massive death in that country. They were the first to get hit by CV when it got out of China, out of the lab in China. The first place it went was Italy. Okay, so Italy got hit the hardest. People were keeling over dead like no tomorrow. And then they were the first because they had bad hospital protocols, that they were given, where they stick everybody on ventilators and that would kill them. And then on top of it, their fertility.
Did they use remdesivir in Europe too? Was that a protocol they followed as well in the hospitals?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And actually even worse things than that. In the UK, they were purposely executing everyone who went into the hospitals with a cocktail of morphine and a bunch of other stuff and just executing them like crazy. Yeah.
Like they did in New York. Kumo.
Exactly. Yeah. So now let's talk about ascension for yourself if you are part of the crew that's staying here on Earth, okay? So the people who are what we call the light warriors, who are here to lead, to teach, and to be healers, to be leaders, teachers, and healers of the new Earth, will be going to 5th density in the first wave. So there's going to be 3 waves of these big shifts on the planet. With the first one, it's going to be called Yeshua calls it the Purification Event. He doesn't call it the Great Solar Flash. The solar thing's been going on since 2012. There is no Great Solar Flash. The Solar Flash thing, the solar event that's changing us and upgrading our DNA. I don't know if you all know this. You get all of your DNA upgrades and your crystalline upgrades from the sun and the central sun. That's where we get it. That started in 2012 for your DNA. And for your crystalline body, it started in 2020. We started shifting to the crystalline body in 2020. And that's all through the sun. And that is your flash. We get bursts of flash because if they did one big flash, we would all disintegrate. Everybody would die. Everything on Earth would be disintegrated. It would be burned up. So they give us little bursts. The Great Solar Flash is really a lot of little flashes that go and go and go and go, upgrading us more and more and more and more. Okay. So the thing is that okay, so it's going to be 3 waves. It's going to be the first wave, only 200,000 people are going to 5D in the first wave. And those 200,000 people are what they call the chosen ones, but they're not really chosen. They volunteered. They're really volunteers, as what's her name that passed away? Oh, what's her name? Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon called them the volunteers. There's 200,000 who stepped up to the plate, and I'm one of those that said, we're coming here to be teachers, healers. You're one of them too, of course, Gail. And those 200,000 will all go to fifth density with the first wave. Now, what we will do is we'll turn around and help all the other people who will be here with us in fourth density, because the people who are staying here are going to be either fourth density or fifth density. There will not be third density on this planet ever again. All right. So you'll either be fourth density. Yeah, you'll be fourth density or you'll be fifth density. Now, fourth density, if you read my book, Ascension 101, third density is fear consciousness. Okay. Third density is fear, narcissism, service to self, all the bad, negative parts of the ego, competition, jealousy, anti-Semitism, hatred, racism, all that. That's all 3D. 4D is love and unity consciousness. So in order to stay here on Earth, you have to be 528 hertz. You will go either to 4D or 5D. 4D is unity consciousness and love and everybody getting along together and everybody playing nice in the sandbox. 5D is what you see in Marvel's Avengers and Marvel's Eternals. It's where you have telepathy, you can levitate, you can walk through walls, you can bilocate, you can...
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, you can teleport yourself, here and there. Let's see, somebody said they had 3 daughters in their 20s and have good hearts.
You want me to put that up? Let me put that one up.
Yeah. Can we address this, please? Anybody who tells you that just because somebody took a vaccine that they are leaving the planet is lying to you. That's a lie. My entire family is all poked up, okay? God isn't going to snuff my children out and my husband out and all of that. It's not going to happen. So that's a lie. Anybody who's telling you that, oh, if you took the poke, you're leaving here, that's not true. Because there are a lot of people who were brainwashed, who are really good people, really good-hearted, nice, kind, wonderful people who were brainwashed and tricked, number one. Number two, there were people like my neighbor who he told me himself, he said, I'm the sole provider for my family, for my wife and kids, and they forced me to keep my job. Yeah. They forced me to
did the same thing to my oldest son. I mean, he has 5 kids.
He didn't have
with his job.
They'd be homeless.
So what are, how could that be fair? I mean,
if you're a single woman and your job tells you either you get to go be homeless or you take a poke, which one are you going to choose? You're going to choose the poke. They basically strong-armed all kinds of people who were totally against pokes into taking them. They threatened their livelihood and said, we'll cut off all your money, your financial whatever, if you don't take this, and they also made it so you couldn't go into restaurants, you couldn't live when in the beginning, in my state, you weren't able to go into a restaurant if you didn't have one of those cards proving that you had one of those. So the thing is that anyone who tells you that people who are poked are going to hell or they're leaving here or they're going here or there, that's a lie. That's a lie. What determines your leaving here is your consciousness. 3D, 4D, and 5D are a consciousness. They have to do with being kind, loving, compassionate versus fear-based. So let's say you got several pokes and you're a fear-based asshole who's mean to your wife, mean to your kids, competing with everyone, jealous, nasty, rude. They're out of here. But then if you have somebody like my neighbor who's a doctor, he's actually a medical doctor and he's a family medical doctor and he's a really good one too. He's a really good guy. I mean, he went in for all the right reasons and he was forced to take one of those so that he could keep his job. He's a really good person. He's a Christian. They go to church every week and, very Christian people. They're staying here. Okay. Those people are staying here. They're not going. Now, will he be in 5D? No, he won't be in 5D. He'll be in 4D, but he will be here and he will be with us. So let's
everybody
talk
that's
about
in 4D though will still graduate. Will still go to 5D eventually, correct? It's just that
Yeah, so let's
they
talk about what's
need
going to happen. It's 3 waves. It's 3 waves. What does that mean? The first wave are the 200,000 or so that are going to be the teachers, healers, and leaders in the new age. The second wave will be everybody that we've taught who is ready to go. And the third wave will be the rest of the people when they're ready to go. And everybody who stays on this earth will all be 5D down the road in a certain amount of time. Okay. So everybody will, if you stay here, you will eventually be 5D. You're just not going to be 5D in the next 5 years. It might be 10 years from now. It might be 20 years from now. It might be 30 years from now. But just remember that we're going to live longer. We're going to live like up to 1,500 years, I was told, that you'll have the ability to live up to 1,500 years if that's what you choose on this planet. So, so everybody who stays here will all eventually be 5D. Nobody gets left behind or forgotten. Nobody. That's the whole where we go, when we go all thing. That was actually a spiritual thing before it was ever a MAGA thing, because God is not going to penalize or punish good souls that, why? Everybody's on a different learning path, everybody's journey. How long it takes me to accomplish a project is going to take you longer. Every one of us finishes the race in a different place. It's like we all start on the same race line and we all finish the race in a different position because we're all on different life courses and life plans and spiritual journeys, which is why my business is called Spiritual Growth Journeys, because we are all spiritually growing as souls. That's part of your one of your main, and I talk about this in Ascension 101 book, your life purpose. I have a whole chapter on your life purpose. And one of your soul purposes, your soul was created with 4 purposes. And one of those purposes is to be spiritually growing all the time. You're always growing and you're always getting smarter and you're learning new things. I don't know everything. I don't know all the answers. I'm learning new things from you, Gail, and from other people. Jenny Lee, I just was chatting with Jenny Lee on the phone for an hour or so the other night. I learn things from all of, from everyone. I'm constantly learning and growing. We're always evolving.
Somebody asking Kimberly, why would I want to live forever if my wife is on the other side?
Okay, so that's a really good question. So first of all, it's a free will choice. If you don't want to stay here, then go. Bye. See ya. Go join her. The whole death thing is a lie. Death is a lie. We're not the body. This is just an avatar puppet costume that you put on to be in a play, like a theater production. You go on, we keep identifying with these bodies, but we're not the body. I mean, I've had ancient Egyptian bodies. I've had Druid priestess bodies. I've had a blue body from Sirius B. I was a mer person. I was a mermaid with a fish tail at one time. Okay. It's like, it's just a costume that you, were you a mer? Yeah. I had like 2 or 3 of those incarnations as a mer person. So this body is just a meat puppet. It's a meat suit. So if you want to go be with your wife, go be with your wife. That is a personal choice. You don't have to stay here. You don't have to stay here. You get free. Here's the scoop, people, that you don't understand. Up until recently, we had our free will completely stolen from us, completely gone, hijacked. And we were in a false matrix where we were being forced recycled over and over and over into suffering lives. That's not going to happen anymore. That's not going to happen. You've been given back your sovereignty. You have your sovereignty now. You've been given back your free will. And somebody said in 5D, we will be with our loved ones. No, that's not true. So when you're in 5D, it's not that you will be with them. They have to make that choice to be with you. They will have to incarnate back into a body again to be on the earth. Okay. But you will be able to telepathically communicate with them and see them. So here's the difference between where I am now in a 3D earth body, whatever, is unless you're a psychic medium like Jenny and Sarah and all my other psychic, and even me sometimes, you can't see people or hear them that are on the other side, that are in the higher dimensions, like your mom, your dad, your wife, whoever. You can't hear them. When you're in 5D, you will be able to communicate with them. Will they be living with you? No, not unless they choose to take on a new body and get reborn again on Earth. Now, they can choose to get reborn again on Earth, or maybe not. But when you're 5D, you will be able to communicate with all your passed on loved ones, because it'll just be like communicating with an alien on another planet. So think about this. It's not that they are untouchable and they are far away. They're actually right here with you now in this space. Heaven is not up in the sky somewhere. Heaven is right here. It's just in a higher dimensional frequency. So once you're in 5D, you will be able to pierce through that veil, and you'll be able to see and hear those people and communicate with them. Does that make sense?
It did to me.
So, yeah, you won't be able to be physically with those people unless they incarnate into a physical body, or unless you pass out of your physical body and go be with them. That's going to be the only way. But you will be able to communicate with them. You will be able to see them when you're in fifth density, which is a reason why you want to get to fifth density, not stay in fourth density.
Okay, somebody said it's unbelievable watching people see chemtrails in the sky and say it's normal contrails. Something is in the jab preventing them from seeing this evil, even when it can be visibly seen. That sounds a lot like an NPC.
So can we talk about that? Yeah, can we talk about that? So what Yeshua said is the CV vaccine was basically the beast system. It's the mark of the beast. You take the mark of the beast when you take it, and it has mind control. It has mind-controlled nanotechnology in it, graphene oxide in it, and it has the mark of the beast in it. So basically, you have signed on to be mind controlled by the government, completely under mind control. Everybody I know who's taken a whole bunch of these things is like an NPC. Like they look right up at the sky, they see the chemtrails, and they go, "Oh, that's not a chemtrail. You're lying. You're a conspiracy theorist." Or, you point out like about the trafficking, and they sit there and go, "Oh, that's a lie. You're a conspiracy theorist." Or you point out anything to them and they say, "That's a lie. You're a conspiracy theorist." That's what they do. And it's like a robotic kind of a response.
I think they're programmed. It's a program.
It's a program that's being run in their head. The other thing that I learned is they have all become extremely almost robotic, and devoid of personality. Like their ability to like laugh and be happy and joyful and have a personality is just gone. It's just gone. It's not there. The other thing, and they're like a computerized robot going through the same motions. Like they like do the same thing day after day. It's like a cookie cutter robot person. They're under total mind control, complete and total mind control. Now, there are people who've had just one of those, and then they did detoxing on it, and they're fine. So even if you had several and you suddenly are waking up now, you can still detox all that crap out of your body. So there is hope. There is hope. So if you have, let's say, a daughter who took 4 of them, and now all of a sudden she's waking up and going, "I never should have taken 4 of them." You can go get the daughter help and get it all detoxed out of the body.
I thought that I changed the DNA in such a way that there were some things that couldn't be changed. I mean, couldn't be detoxed from the body.
That's true, because it completely changes your DNA, but at least you can mitigate quite a bit of it. You're not going to mitigate all of it, but you can mitigate quite a bit of it. Yeah.
The other thing that and this is just something I learned from someone who was a farmer when they first started coming out with GMOs, which I was totally against because again, it's synthetic or it's not natural. They do, well, he said that as a farmer, that in a couple of uh, um, times he can bring it back to normal. Is what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say, like he can, it might be a GMO um, initially, but if it's um, it can be made to be back to normal. Exactly how, I'm not sure, but that's what a farmer was
You
told.
mean
Told me.
regenerative farming? Probably they're probably going to use regenerative farming, and that can bring it back to normal. But I want everybody to understand that when the purification event happens, we're going to be put into a stasis sleep for 3 months. We're going to be like basically unconscious for 3 months. You're going to be like frozen in time wherever you are. So if you're in an airplane up at the sky when the purification event happens, it'll be like pause like a video game, and you will be put into a sleep stasis, and the entire planet is going to be healed. All the land, all the farms will be healed. There won't be GMO anymore. It won't exist here on New Earth,
Yay.
which is this Earth that's healed. It won't have any of that. um it is, the land, the water is going to all be healed, the oceans are going to be healed, and every Yeshua says that every human who stays here on the earth will be healed. So if you're like handicapped in a wheelchair, you'll be healed. If you have diabetes, you'll be healed. If you have cancer, you'll be healed. But everyone who stays here will have a healthy body to start with. The med beds are only necessary for people who are 3D people. 3D people, because if you're staying here in New Earth, you won't really need one. Now, they will have healing technologies here on the Earth, in the New Earth, because if you break your leg, you're riding your bicycle and you fall off your bike and you break your leg, you're going to have to get stuck in a healing chamber, to heal that, right? But initially, everybody, when we come out of our little coma that we're going to be put into, we're going to be healthy and whole when we start off.
Someone's
So,
asking. Okay. Someone was asking about universal communications. What is the English language and how far out there is it used? How you mean in
so
cosmos? Is that answer that as best you
yeah.
can,
So you need,
Kimberly?
yeah. So you need to understand that every race of extraterrestrials has a different language that they speak. And they kind of showed you it in Star Trek. So the TV shows, I want you to understand that there are certain white hat operation TV shows and movies that are part of what we call soft disclosure to wake people up. Battlestar Galactica, Star Wars, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, the
Stargate.
Stargate SGA-1 or whatever. Um, all of those are all part of the alliance between the Galactic Federation and the Earth Alliance, working together to softly disclose information. So if you watch those shows, you will see that everybody has a different language, but they have equipment that they can wear, like on their shirt or something, that helps translate the language. Do you understand? So
Oh
in the
yeah.
future on Earth, everybody will still have different languages, but you'll also have the ability to learn those languages really quick. So, you'll have the ability to like download the language into your head. Like if I want to learn French, like right now I'm trying to practice learning French and Portuguese. And so like if I wanted to learn French and Portuguese quickly in the future, I would be able to do that. To do that. But everybody in space all has a different language. So why wouldn't we still keep all the different languages on Earth? We will. It's just that we will have different abilities that will allow us different like equipment and things like you wear on your shirt maybe or something where you tap it and it translates what everybody's saying. Yeah. So let's talk about the most important thing of all. Are you okay talking with the important thing of how do people it's not just important about what do you do to stay here. It's important about what do you do to get to fid density? What is needed to become fid density? Because only 200,000 people are ready for that right now. So Gail, don't you want to know what you need to do if you're not? I mean, I know you're going to be going to fid density in the first group, but don't you want to know what the other people need to do
Yes,
in order to
sure.
get
Yeah,
fid density?
yeah, that's why we're doing this. So yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I need to point out that 2 people were commenting on my last video with you about telling me that I couldn't be in fid density and I'm not going to fid density based on my expressing my
Oh,
emotions, and that
yeah.
Yeshua, and then all these idiots who say Yeshua can't be angry because he's a high dimensional being and they're not allowed to be angry. I'm calling bullshit on all of that. Okay. Here's the scoop, folks. As long as you are in a human body, part of the human experience of being on Earth, no matter what density you are, 100 density, 5,000 density, you are going to have emotions. You are going to have love, sadness, happiness, joy, sorrow, grief, fear, all those things. You're going to have all these emotions, right? Because you're in a human body. You're in a human body. And even the extraterrestrials that are in higher density consciousnesses all have emotions. And even all of the spirits on the other side in heaven and everywhere have emotions. Somebody's phone is ringing or something's ringing. I hear
Yeah, it
something
was
ringing.
mine. I don't know somebody why.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I hung it up.
so somebody was sitting there and saying to me that I can't be angry or this or that and be 5D, and that is a lie. I asked Yeshua, so I said to him, I said, Yeshua, do you have any negative emotions? And he said, yes, I do sometimes. And I said, what emotions? And he said, there's 2 of them: anger and frustration. He said, when you're in the higher densities, the only 2 negative emotions that you can have are anger and frustration. And he said they're very fleeting. So if you are angry, you're not like stuck in it, because right now when you're in a 3D body, you get into a place of fear or anger and you just stay there. Like you stay stuck there, which is bad. It's very bad to be stuck in those emotions. What you need to be doing when you have negative emotions is you're supposed to claim that you have the emotion, like, gee, I feel really angry right now. I feel really sad right now. You claim it, you process it, you express it, and then you let it go. Okay. And I've taught all kinds of classes and videos on this, like how to deal with your anger, how to deal with if you're feeling afraid of something, how do you deal with fear and all that, because you're going to have emotions. Now, there's a difference between having a temporary emotion and focusing on it every day. Now, if there's somebody who I know who's just angry 24/7. Those people are leaving here. If you're somebody who's just angry all the time, you're not ever going to fit density. You're not going anywhere. Okay. You need to be able, when you have a negative emotion, part of being a 5D person is you're able to say, hey, wow, I'm angry right now. Then you process it, you express it by saying fuck you or whatever you're going to do to express your anger, or go punch a pillow or go run around the block 5 times. You do something to process the anger.
Swearing, can we say that swearing actually helps anger?
Swearing is cathartic and it's really, really good for you. And all of the people who told you that swearing is evil and bad and you're a sinner if you swear, that's a lie. So when does swearing become evil and bad and sinning? Swearing becomes a sin when you are purposely using it to harm somebody. Okay. So if I went to my husband and called him a rat ass bastard and I really meant it and I was hurting his feelings and I made him feel angry with that, or, I hurt his feelings, then that's not good. You can't do that. Now, if I stub my toe and I go, fuckity, fuck, 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 I do that. That is okay. That's perfectly fine. You're allowed. You can do that. You can totally do that because you're expressing your emotions. You're expressing your emotions.
You're releasing the anger, and you're really releasing it in many ways.
Yeah.
By doing
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Swearing is basically extremely cathartic. It's very cathartic and it's very healing unless you're using it to hurt somebody or be mean to somebody or be jealous of somebody or be competitive with somebody, which are all the negative aspects of ego. So can I talk about ego? Can I talk
Oh, of
about that?
course. Yes, and
Okay.
somebody's asking about
So
religion and 5D, so that would be a good question too.
So
But anyway,
here's
go
the
ahead.
scoop, people. I've covered this in Ascension 101. I have a whole chapter on how to be happy the rest of your life. And getting rid of all the negative aspects of your ego not only is going to make you happy, but guess what? You're going to go to 5D because you're going to be stuck in fourth density until you can get rid of negative aspects of ego. Now, ego and emotions are two different things, okay? When I'm feeling sad, angry, frustrated, that's not my ego, that's my emotions, okay? Those are emotions. Everybody who is not a computer, all of the aliens in space have emotions. They all have emotions. All of the spirits, like your dead, my mom and dad who have been in heaven for 19 years now, they have emotions on the other side up in heaven. They get emotional, they cry, they're sad for us, they have emotions. What you don't have when you're in a high dimension is negative aspects of ego. What does that mean? Meanness, nastiness, hatred, jealousy, competition, thinking you're better than other people, thinking you're more important than others, thinking you're a know-it-all and you know everything. I always say I know a tiny bit. I'm always learning. I don't know more than everybody. I know a little bit. I know some things. All right. I'm very humble about the fact that I'm just a human being having this experience and I'm on a journey and I'm learning. I'm not perfect. Okay. Either are you. So people who think they're perfect, people who think they're more special than everybody else, people who think they're chosen to be some special, no, we're not chosen. Maybe you volunteered, but you weren't chosen for anything. So you have to get rid of all those negative emotions: ego, jealousy, competition, narcissism. That's got to go. Any kind of narcissistic envy, being envious of people, people who are totally obsessed with their appearance and inflating their lips and their faces with all kinds of stuff and getting 50 plastic surgeries. I'm going to be 60 this year. I have zero plastic surgery, zero dermatology, anything. I put organic moisturizer on my face every day. All my makeup I wear. Right now I have no makeup on at all except for lipstick, and I don't even have moisturizer on right now. I just put some lipstick on, and it's vegan, organic lipstick, okay? But I'm not obsessed with going and having boob jobs and this and that and look at me, look at me, look at me. I don't want the people who are out there doing the selfies, like all these young girls who are everywhere posing with cute outfits and their makeup all done up. They are totally egomaniac. They're what you call narcissistic egomaniacs. Look at me, I'm so beautiful. Oh, look how cute I am. No. I like to do different voices, by the way. I can do all kinds of impersonations and impressions and voices, but and accents and languages. But the thing is that that is a negative aspect of ego. When you are, what is the term for that? When you where you're just like all obsessed with the way you look. What is that term?
Vanity.
Vanity. There's no vanity in 5D.
You're vain.
I put lipstick on because my mouth is chapped. My lips are chapped, and I put it on usually because it's got moisturizing stuff in it for my lips. I also put it on because when I look in the mirror, I like to see some color on my face. I don't give a flying F what people think about how I look. So I don't care about, do I look all cute and good for other people? I only care about what does God think about me? What does God think? God thinks I'm beautiful just the way I am, whether I have no makeup on, a lot of makeup. No, I love makeup, but not because I'm doing it to get people to look at me or I want to look a certain way. I like to play with it because I'm a right brain artsy person. I'm a creative artsy person, and I like to try different colors on my face just for fun. And I like to use my face as an art palette from time to time, where I tried blue and green and this and that. And it's, for me, it's more of an artistic fun thing. I'm not doing it because I want anyone to look at me. I'm not going to go take selfie pictures. In fact, I hate taking pictures because I think I look ugly in pictures. I don't like the way I look in pictures. So, it's like, vanity is a big one. Look at me, or these women who, or men even, who the world revolves around them. You will not get to 5D with those behaviors. You will not get them. So I just wanted to explain to you all that in order to get to fifth density, you have to get rid of all the negative aspects of ego. There are positive aspects of ego that you have to be in a human body. What are those? The need to eat healthy food, the need to take care of your body, the need to provide for your family, the need to feel heard and to feel loved and to feel important, the need to have friendships, the need to spend time with your family. Those are positive aspects of the ego. Okay. And those you're always going to have. Those are important, but you're not going to get to the density if you're doing the compete. Oh, I'm going to go compete with Kimberly, or I'm going to be jealous of Kimberly, which you shouldn't be, because I don't have anything to be jealous of, honestly. Um, but if you're those kind of people, you're not going to 5D. You're going to be stuck in 3D and go to that other 3D planet, or you're going to be stuck in 4D. The other thing you need to do in order to get to 5D is you have to clear all your past life garbage. You have to clear all your karma, all your false light contracts, all your curses, spells, dark magic, voodoo, hoodoo, Santeria. All that's got to go from past lives, current life, and your DNA. You've got to clear all your trauma and stress from your past lives, your current life, and your DNA. You have to clear all of your false belief systems that you have, of your subconscious false beliefs, like I'm not good enough, all that kind of stuff. You got to clear all that. You also have to clear it from your DNA and also your past lives. So that's all work that you have to do. I've been doing this work on myself literally my whole life. I started doing spiritual work when I was 12 years old because I was born psychic. So I started doing spiritual work on myself at age 12. And so my whole life, I've been work in progress, doing all this work, clearing, constantly clearing. That is what you need to do to get to 5D. Because if you don't clear that stuff, you're stuck in 4D until you do. And that, Gail, is what you and I are here to teach people and help people to do. That's the main thing that we're here to help them with, is to clear all their shit so they can go to 5D. Really, really important.
So
does that make sense?
people need to know how do they do that? What is the process involved in clearing those negative aspects of yourself?
Yeah, well, that I can't talk about in a video interview, because it's, first of all, it's unique to each and every person. That's number one. It's not the same remedy for every person. It's different for everyone. Second of all, Jenny Lee, I used to clear all this stuff for people. I used to do this work for people. I don't do it anymore. Jenny Lee does it. My friend Sarah does it. I have a friend Robin who does it. Excuse me. I have several
By the way,
friends who do that work with people.
Jenny Lee will be on the show later tonight at 8:00.
Yeah.
Just so
Yeah.
I
But
put that
Jenny
out there
Lee
for
will
people to
clear your trauma with you and all that kind of stuff. That's what she does. She's a great healer. She had trained me to do her modality, and I was using it for a long time. And then I took my own modality that Yeshua gave me, and I combined the two, and I was doing both of them together. But I had to stop doing it because I'm going through a lot of health issues right now from processing all the trauma and everything of the collective through myself. I'm going through a lot of health stuff, and so I'm focusing on healing my own body right now. So I'm not doing any more healing stuff. So when I have clients come to me and I do a soul reading on them, and I diagnose that they have all the shit they need to clear, then I send them off to Jenny to work with them. That's what I do. So I just send them over to Jenny.
Okay. Here's a question for you. Do I need to move my body to go to 5D? Doesn't 5D come to me like a perception lens and I stay right where I am just with a new view?
I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I guess yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if you watched the show earlier, I said you're not going anywhere. You're staying here on Earth. 5D is a consciousness. It's within you. It's within your being. You're not going anywhere. It is a consciousness level.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have any other? There's somebody else has a question about people dreaming or something like that.
Yeah, I'm looking through some right now. Here's one. Oh, somebody, well, I'll put that up there. Somebody is asking me a question for Gail. I did send you an email, legal versus lawful. Did it get through? I'm not, if you send it to Gail Ross 5555, it should have been through, but I haven't seen it. I have to tell you that. I'll have to look for it. I'll see if I can find it. Okay, let's see what else we got here.
I have no clue what legal versus lawful means because I don't know anything about law stuff. That's my son's specialty. He's an attorney, so go talk to him.
Well, yeah, legal versus lawful. Legal is not natural, and lawful is, and legal is a part of the Admiralty law system, which is very bad and needs to go. Yeah. And all attorneys that are bar attorneys have to be registered as a foreign agent because that's what they are in this paradigm. Because that system, the Admiralty maritime law system, is not of any benefit to the people.
Well, all of the laws that we have now on this earth are all Cabal created laws that were created by the Cabal to keep us enslaved. Yeah, right.
Sasha Stone say, and I can't verify this because I don't figure it out, but he said that there was 10,000 statutes and codes or 10 million statutes and codes on the books. So how can and I heard another figure of 6.5 million. Either way, that is so many, it's ridiculous. And it's all set up as a means for the lawmakers to make money. It's really a RICO situation, but I don't want to get into that. But let's move on to
the entire else. Legal system is all a Cabal system, and that's going to end. So I want to address this right now. So in 2019, yeah, it's satanic. So when Yeshua came to me in 2019 and told me, quote unquote, he said, the world you know is about to die, and I'm going to resurrect a new Shambhala. What does Shambhala mean? Kingdom of heaven, or heaven on earth. Okay. And that's how he said it to me, because he doesn't talk the way you and I do. He talks more old-fashioned terminology. He said, the world's going to die and I'm going to resurrect a new Shambhala. And he told me, Kimberly, all of the systems on your planet are going to collapse. And he said, the legal system, the food, the healthcare system, the drug system, all of that, the political system, the economic system, and the school system are all of these systems, all of them are run by the reptilian Cabal. All of them are Cabal, and they're all reptilian. And all of the systems were created, he said, to enslave humanity. They were all created to enslave humanity. None of them are beneficial to us. None of them. They're all going bye-bye. We're going to get whole new systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is really good, because all from people, and that I have an issue going on with that right now in Sedona.
Yeah. So, the legal system will go away. So people who are attorneys and all that will either have to get, they'll have to get retrained, or they will have to, luckily my son's not quite an attorney yet. He's a paralegal is what he is. He's a paralegal, but he still works at, like a law firm. But a lot of these people will have to go, they will have to get retrained with the new, new systems, or most of them will be out of a job. They'll be out of a job because the stuff that they're doing is totally wrong. Everything's wrong. It's all bad. So,
Yes, it is.
yep,
So
yep. So let's go. I want to do a review of the steps that everybody needs to do, because you guys need to all be on board with me so that I see you 10 years from now. So you're not all gone and obliterated or wherever. Just kidding. Um, the steps are: you need to, first of all, be kind, loving, compassionate, forgiving, and well, you only forgive people who are worthy of your forgiveness. So there's a phrase called, where Yeshua says, "Don't cast your pearls before swine." There are some people who aren't worthy of your forgiving them. Like, for example, these people who consistently rape and traffic children and eat and sacrifice them and then eat them over and over again. There's no forgiveness for that. I'm sorry. There are some people that aren't going to be forgiven, and that's the way it goes. Not everybody gets forgiven. And Yeshua does not, he never told people to forgive everyone. That's actually a lie that was made up by the Vatican, because they wanted you to forgive them for raping your children. They wanted you to forgive them for
not
that.
happening.
And yeah, and so they made up this thing that, oh, you have to forgive everybody, and that is a total lie. You don't have to forgive everybody. You only forgive people who are worthy of forgiveness. They have to be worthy of forgiveness. That means that they have to be really truly sorry for what they do. They have to repent, and they have to, from that point forward, be a truly good person and make up for all the bad deeds they've done in the past. If they're not willing to do that and they're not able to do that, you can't forgive them. Sorry, that's the way it goes. Yep. So anyways, you need to be kind and nice. You need to be vibrating in a love frequency, not a fear frequency. You got to get rid of all the fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Make all the fear go away. You got to get rid of all the dark aspects of your personality, the jealousy, the envy, anti-Semitism, racism, hatred, meanness, nastiness, competition, all these things. You got to get rid of all these things. Yeah.
So yeah, somebody's saying forgiveness is something to free yourself, not them.
Yes, you can say and you can do Ho'oponopono on yourself. So one thing I teach my clients, because I teach my clients a Ho'oponopono forgiveness prayer and how to utilize it properly. You can forgive yourself for your part in whatever horrible thing happened with this. So let's say somebody murdered your sister and they're evil and they went out of court laughing and snickering and I'm going to do it again kind of thing. They can't wait to go murder again. You can't forgive that person, but what you can do is forgive yourself for any part you had in that whole whatever happened. That's all you can do.
I have a comment about something that I've about, and that is that with all the people, with all the arrests that are going on right now of the illegals, illegal and putting them in the jail system, I happen to know that there were 5 people in jails recently. I think these illegal aliens were sent here for to do great harm. I don't think they should be put in with the American population in the prisons. 5 people killed. Okay. Maybe you don't care about this because you think, oh, they're just criminals anyway. You have no right to judge that, because this system, it's way too many people, incarcerates people who are innocent of what they say they did. And a lot of them don't even have, there's no victim, no crime. So, and now these people are being put in there, and that's what's happening. People are dying because
absolutely. Of it. Yeah, I have to agree with that, but there's a whole, it's not, I'm a spiritual teacher, so I'm not here to talk about the prison system, but I do happen to know that the entire prison system is corrupted. It's corrupted and it's bad. and it's not going to be the same in the future. But you have to understand in the future, huh?
It's for
What?
profit. That's what the problem is.
Yeah.
The prison
Yeah.
system is for profit. The legislators make
Yep.
laws to imprison people for longer periods of time. There's also equity on the part of the judges. There's all kinds of very dirty, under the table, unknown things that go on in the court system. And I know it for a fact because
So
I know people that have gone through it.
I have good news about that, though. You want to hear the good news?
Yeah, sure, of course.
When we go through the purification event and the earth is shifted to the higher density consciousness, the 4 and 5D, the prisons won't exist on earth anymore. We won't have them. Why is that? Because all the people who are left here are people who wouldn't get sent to prison in the first place. Does that make sense? Yeah. People
There's a lot
who do
of
evil
people that
things
have
will
been
not be
sent to
on the.
prison that's shown. Yeah, but there are people that are put in prison, I'm sorry, that don't belong in the first place. And
I
I know this for a
agree, which
fact.
is why there won't be prisons anymore. Do you understand my meaning? I'm not just talking about the bad guys in prison. I'm talking
Yeah.
about people won't need to go to a prison anymore because they won't exist, number one. And number two, the only people that will be on the earth are people who don't need to go to prison in the first place. So if you need to be in prison because you're a murderer or a rapist or something, you're not going to be on the earth anymore. All right. Now, somebody who was in prison falsely because, we'll give your favorite example, which is, what's the term for it? Self-defense. Self-defense. So let's say you're in a bar, somebody beats the shit out of you and is going to kill you, and they're going to knife you, and you have to protect yourself and defend yourself. And in the process, they fall and hit their head and they die. They stick you in prison when that person was trying to kill you. That's false imprisonment. Those people will not be going to prison in the future because that won't be a thing on this earth anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes a lot
There's
of sense.
a lot of people who are in prison, like the people who are in prison for smoking marijuana. If you're somebody who does drugs, unless you committed a crime while doing the drugs, you shouldn't be in prison. People who are doing drugs, instead of putting them in prison, they need to get rehab. They need help. They need doctors. They need rehab. They need counseling. They need family and love and support. They need a lot of hugs. They need somebody to give them a lot of love and hugs. They don't need to be stuck in a prison. So anyone who is in prison because they were pulled over in the car because, they were under the influence of something, unless they were doing something to harm someone, like they were purposely harming somebody, they should not be in there. Yeah.
They ruin people's lives right now with the way the thing is. But
Thea, I just said that. What happens to those people who killed for self-defense? I just said that. That's what I just said.
Yeah.
I already talked about that. I said that kind of thing won't exist in the 5D because there's not going to be people here who you're going to have to self-defend yourself against anyways. People, and when you're in 4 and 5D, people will not be trying to kill you. Get it out of your head, people. 3D Earth is a place where people try to rape you and kill you. It doesn't exist on a heavenly 4D, 5D Earth. Do you think raping and killing happens in heaven every day? Hell no. He said he's bringing heaven back to earth. What does that mean to you? What does heaven on earth mean? It means no rapings, no killings, no thievings, no stealings, no beatings, no bullying. That stuff's not going to exist anymore here.
That's why all the systems are coming down because most of them were businesses and they're based on profit. That goes for the legal system, the healthcare system, the education system. They all have been set up in such a way that they're anti-human in many ways. So anyway, moving right along. I think too, somebody mentioned something about drinking and driving. I don't think people would even, a lot of times people drink to escape reality. That's an ugly reality, and they probably won't even. I mean, it's going to be such a different environment, and there won't be any need to drink to forget your troubles. Is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's usually. And once it becomes an addiction, then other is required. But
Yeah, so let's actually
it's
talk about that. So alcohol and drugs are part of the 3D prison matrix. Those are part of the 3D prison matrix. They're here to trap your soul and to get you in trouble. That's what they were created for. They were created to cause trouble and chaos on the planet, all right? So in the future, in 4D, 5D, you're not going to have that. And because do you know that the main reason why people do drugs in the first place, you have two reasons. You have your young people who are how do you want to say, like, forced into it or manipulated into it by other kids, by their peers, like,
peer
come on,
pressure.
smoke that
Peer.
joint, you want to smoke that joint, or we're going to all shun you and turn our backs on you if you don't smoke this joint. I mean, I had that happen to me in junior high. I had all of the cool kids beating me up because I wouldn't be a cool kid. And in order to be a cool kid, you had to smoke some weed, right? So, they tried to, get me to do that. And that's what they do. So you have that group. You have the group where it's the gangbangers and the peers and the other kids that con you or convince you or manipulate you or twist your arm or strong arm you into trying drugs or alcohol. Then you have the other group of people. Who are the other group of people? Actually, they're telling me there's three groups. There's people who have a genetic addiction problem. Okay. Irish people are prone to it. Russian
Native
people are
American.
prone to it. And Finnish people and Native American. Those are four groups of people very prone to alcoholism. Okay. Irish, Finnish from Finland, Russians from Russia, and they like their vodka. They want to drink their vodka. And then Native Americans, they have like a DNA propensity towards alcohol addiction and drug addiction that is passed down through the DNA. Okay. Then you have your group that's strong armed or bamboozled. Like I said, the kids with the gangs and the peer pressure in school and all that. And then you have another group. What is the other group? The other group are the people who trying to run away from their emotions and their problems and their stress in their life. They're drowning out their sorrows. They're drowning out their trauma. Oh, I just lost my mom and I can't deal with it, so I'm going to drink myself into a frenzy. I could have done that when my parents died. I could have gone and drunk myself into a frenzy, but I never did that because I don't drink alcohol. I drink it maybe like a couple times a year. I don't like alcohol. It doesn't like me and I don't like it. So I don't do that.
Doesn't
And
like
I don't use
either.
any drug. And
That
I don't use
I can't drink alcohol either. I mean, I can have like a glass of wine,
sick.
but
It
if I
actually
have
upsets
the
my
least bit
stomach.
too much, it just really I can get sick
Well,
very easily.
it burns my stomach. It actually feels like my stomach is like turning into a volcano. It's awful. Like I have one
Maybe
sip of
that's
an
a
alcohol.
blessing in disguise because you
Yeah.
don't have a propensity to it, and you don't like it, and it's actually for that to
Cannabis
be
is
that
not
way.
bad. It is medicinal. So remember the old thing, everything in moderation, number one. Number two, it's not a narcotic drug like cocaine, fentanyl, methamphetamine, that kind of thing. That's what we're talking about. When I'm talking drugs, I'm not talking about doing a little bit of cannabis. I am talking about meth, fentanyl, heroin, quaaludes, those
Stuff
kind
that
of
will
narcotic kind of
totally
drugs.
addict you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And so what happens is people there's a group of people who run away from their problems and their emotions instead of going to a shrink or going to friends or going to whoever and getting help. They run away from their problems by drowning their sorrows and their stress and their anguish and their grief in either drugs or alcohol. That's one group of people. And then you have the group that are genetically predispositioned, and then you have the group that are peer pressured. And then you have another group altogether different, which is the medically caused addictions with the opiate crisis. Those are people who broke their
Oh
leg,
yeah.
went into the hospital, and the doctors got them addicted to opiates. That's
Yeah,
another
that's
group.
bad. And that's an area that where cannabis can be a lot of help. And I think it's very interesting that when it came to child sex trafficking and human trafficking, cannabis was the one drug they would not allow them to have because it expands your consciousness. They could have all the alcohol, all the cocaine, all the whatever other drugs are out there. They could have that, but they couldn't have cannabis.
You know, somebody made a comment that cannabis cured their mother-in-law's cancer and paralysis at the same time. Doctors are baffled. I'm not baffled. Cannabis is talked about in the Holy Bible. They've been using it as a medical treatment for thousands of years, all the way back to ancient Egyptian times. The ancient Egyptians used cannabis. So cannabis is not bad. Now, it is bad if you use it to get totally stoned out of your head and go and fuck up some people or do something bad. Then,
That's,
you know,
that's probably
if
not too likely to happen because usually if somebody does that much cannabis, they pass out or they,
yeah, right.
it's
Right.
just, yeah.
So
That's
I don't
from,
have anything against cannabis. In fact, I have a product called Dragon Balm that I absolutely love. It's like 1,200 milligrams of THC, and it's in a balm. It's a roll-up thing, and I put it on all the parts of my body that are hurting really bad. And it's made out of cannabis, THC, and a bunch of really good stuff. And I use it all over the place. I use it all over the place. So I don't have anything against cannabis. Nothing, zero,
there's
because I use it myself.
wonderful herbs. Yeah, there's wonderful herbs out there that
Yeah.
are there to help people. And
Yep.
what has done is they take the active ingredient out of a plant substance and then they tweak it to make, because they can't patent something that's all natural. So they tweak it in such a way that makes it partly synthetic, which makes it less valuable to you in the long run. But it doesn't have, it's just bad when they do that. That's all there is to it. It's again,
Someone
it's
said
based
Rick
on making
Simpson is a
money.
Canadian hero. Do you know who Rick Simpson is? Rick Simpson.
Oh yeah, he
I
did
don't know
the
who he. I
cannabis
just know
oil.
about his the oil. I know about the Rick Simpson oil. I don't know about him personally, but I know that many of my friends who had stage 4 cancer, where they were told, you have a few months to live, you're going to die. They went on Rick Simpson oil and completely healed themselves. And all the doctors are like scratching their head going, duh, we don't get it,
Duh.
George. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rick
Just
Simpson.
like, duh, we still don't get it about autism. I guess we have to do some more studies.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know
get
what?
real.
Autism was
Uh,
never a thing until
come on.
the vaccines. Nobody ever had autism until vaccines were
Exactly.
created.
Exactly.
Oh,
Careful
I
on
have
YouTube.
something else.
So
I have a pet peeve I want to bring up. Dogs
good.
and cats. Every time I go to the vet, my doctor is trying to push me to vaccinate my cat. Did you know that those damn rabies vaccines are good for 10 years, not 1 year, and they force you to get a new one like every other year or every year? And the vaccines that they're giving the pets are giving them all cancers and all kinds of debilitating diseases. And they're purposely doing that because the World Economic Forum said that pets are creating the global warming and that we need to exterminate all the pets on the planet. That's what
Yeah.
Klaus
And now
Schwab
they're
said.
saying too, yeah, and then they're saying too, the other thing that they're saying is your pets are giving you all kinds of parasites. They're trying to kill our pets and
To
get
lie,
us away
want
from our
you to
pets
kill them.
because it's
Yeah.
a love that we have for our animals, and it's the relationship with our animals, because it's still about love with
Yeah.
your animal, and they don't want us to
You know,
have
you
that.
can get parasites from pets, but only if you're a dirty, filthy person who doesn't keep your house clean and doesn't wash your hands. And, you know, if you're going and cleaning the cat box and then not washing your hands afterwards, that's your problem. You know what I mean?
Probably not.
But it's not the
Yeah,
pet's fault. It's not the pet's fault. And you know, honestly, every human on the earth has parasites in them, not just the animals. It's all the humans are
exactly.
loaded with parasites.
I just noticed that. I just brought that up Kimberly, because I noticed recently I've been seeing a
Yeah.
lot of ads in that regard. We have, I mean, I know there are people that have parasites that don't have any animals. You know, it's that's not it. It's uh, our pets are important to us, is what it boils down to, and they want to vax them just like they do us. And so you really need to be um, mindful of that. Just like they said, children and pets will ascend very easily.
The pets are
They'll
already
make the
in
transition, or the
5D, just so everybody knows. Pets are already their consciousness,
pet.
their physical body might be a 3D body right now, just like my body's a 3D body. But their consciousness, the consciousness of pets is immediately 5D the minute they come into the earth. They come into the earth with 5D unconditional love consciousness. They're actually born, all of the pets are born 5D. They are all born 5D. Just not their physical
That's
you know, bodies anymore. So
awesome. Well, we love. I don't know about you, but I love my pets. than one right now. So,
yep, I've had them my whole life. I've had turtles, I've had fish, I've had parakeets, I've had cats, I've had dogs. I had a bunny rabbit one time. About the only kind of pet I haven't had is like a horse or something like that. But I mean, I've had pretty much everything. So, and I haven't had reptiles because I don't like them.
well, when I was married to a cowboy, I had a horse, and well, I actually had it before I was married to him, but he has since passed. But nonetheless, I love horses. They are so in tune with human emotions. If you're scared around them, they know it. Um, and they can be so loving. They use them the equine therapy. I love horses. I'm just anyway. I don't want to keep one anymore, but I did at one time.
I can't ride on a horse,
Maybe
but I
in
love to pet them. I love petting them on their little snouts and talking to them and having a conversation with them because they understand everything you're saying. And they're just beautiful creatures. They're
they
beautiful.
are. They're awesome. They're awesome. That's
Yeah.
why I have them in my intro. Horses and wolves are very special animals.
Yeah,
Let's
they
see.
are.
We
They're
got in.
extremely. Have you seen all the videos going around the internet where they're using horses for therapy for people who have like autism or they're like handicapped, they're like completely handicapped and they have the horses coming and giving them kisses
Yes.
and
Yeah.
therapy and it's just
Equine
beautiful to
equine
watch that.
therapy, they call it.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I when I was in school in Tempe, they had us. We had to do community uh, programs or service, and I went with an equine therapy group, and they would have children there, on the horses, and they just loved it. You could tell it had a healing effect on them.
Hmm.
Are you okay there?
My neck has like a crick in it and I was just trying to stretch my shoulders and my neck out. So, yeah. I told you I woke up with a headache. I went to bed with a headache. I woke up with a headache, and I still have the headache right now. It hurts pretty bad, actually.
We're we we're at, we really wrap this up right now anyway.
Yeah.
Unless you have
So I
any
hope
final
you.
words.
Yeah, I hope everybody understands what it takes to get to fifth density and fourth density. I mean, just to stay here on the earth, you have to be a nice person. If you want to sum it up into one sentence, it's be a nice person, and then you get to stay here. Okay. Then from that point forward, you need to do work on yourself because if you want to go to the higher densities, you have to do all the clearing and all the work. And, that's basically in a
Mhm.
nutshell, you know?
Right. And
So,
this is a difficult kind of work that, when you think in the terms of work, it's not something difficult to do. It's just recognizing your programming and recognizing your um, darker side, and clearing whatever you can as you think about
I
it. As it
actually have my clients cleared within 1 to 3 days completely of everything. If they cooperate and they do the work, it doesn't take a lot. It's not a lot of effort. It's not very hard. But you have to be willing to put the work in because God helps those who help themselves. If you expect somebody to come wave a magic wand and fix you, it's never going to happen. You have to try to heal yourself, try to work on yourself. Nobody's going to come rescue you and save you and make your problems go away. You have to do that for yourself. You have to be your own superhero. That's how it works. So,
Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone for listening, and I want to thank people that helped me out because I almost wasn't able to be here because I have to cover certain expenses related to doing these shows. So I want to thank people that did help because it was a big help, and that's why I'm still here. So, I'm not like some people that make a small fortune doing these things. I'm just not in that category. But and
yeah,
that's fine. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to help humanity. That's why I'm here, and I try to
we're
bring
both here to
people.
help humanity.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and
Uh,
and I have people like Kimberly on because of that. And don't
Yep,
forget tonight, Jenny Lee will be on too. And both these women
yep.
have wonderful things to say and are very helpful to you. So
Thank you. Thank you. Gail, can we
thank you.
address one person before we go? Somebody
Sure.
made a comment that I think is important to address about if you're military, can you go from third to fourth to fifth?
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Here
It
we go.
doesn't matter what career you're in. Okay, Matt, it doesn't matter what career you're in or you've been in. If you were in the military, first of all, if you were in the military, Matt, thank you for serving our country because I am so respectful and grateful to our military for protecting this country from getting invaded by China or whoever, I mean, otherwise our whole country would be like either communist or Sharia law or something if we didn't have the
Yeah,
the the military. So my whole entire neighborhood, just so you understand, where I live is mostly military people. Okay. And so everybody around me here is going to be ascending, and they're all really good people. I've never met. And now you can have, just remember, every human is either bad or good. So it doesn't matter if you're in the military or not. You can have evil people in the military and you can have good people in the military. What matters is what kind of person are you? I don't give a flying fuck if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a military person, a police officer, a nurse. I don't, a homemaker. There are homemakers that are evil. I've met some stay-at-home moms that were pretty freaking evil. Okay, that are not going to go to 4D or 5D. I've met some homemaker mothers that were really vile, narcissistic, nasty backstabber people. Okay, those are the people who are not ascending. Okay, it doesn't have to do with what career were you in. It has to do with what is in your heart, what is in your consciousness, what is in your mind, what are you focusing your thoughts on. The biggest thing is focusing your thoughts on positive thoughts, because when you're in 5D you can't have constant negative thinking. Okay, for negative thinking is part of 3D, and even in 4D you'll be able to have a little bit of it, but you'll have to shut it down immediately, because once you're in 5D all of your thoughts are always neutral or positive, they're not negative. Okay, so that's really important to focus on.
And here's one last
uh,
fun question. Are unicorns real in the 4D?
Actually, unicorns have always been real. They're in the higher dimensions. They're what you call an elemental. Fairies are real. I mean, I have friends that can see unicorns. They can see fairies. They can see
I've seen
leprechauns. I have a
people that.
lot of friends in Ireland that see leprechauns all the time. Those are what you call elementals, and they zip in and out of different dimensions. They're able to move between the dimensions, and they live in a higher frequency. And the people who are able to see, it's not a matter of are unicorns real in 4D, it's a matter of will you be able to see them with your eyes. Because right now when you're in 3D and they're in a higher frequency, you can't see them, just like you can't see the people on the other side of the veil, like your dead family. The only reason why you can't see your dead family members is because you're not at their frequency level. You're not in that frequency. When you get into the higher vibration, you'll be able to see all kinds of stuff that you haven't been able to see, including giants, fairies, dragons, unicorns, all that kind of stuff. It all exists, but it exists in a different frequency and dimension. Does that make sense? So yes, they are real and you will be able
Makes
to
sense
see
to me.
them. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, well, I think we covered quite a bit. And thank you so much for being here. And you're not going to be on social media for a while. Did you want to mention anything about
Yeah,
that or
I
no?
have a few announcements to mention. I'm taking a break off of social media effective May 10th until probably like the 2nd of June, because I need to work on healing myself. I need to do a lot of healing on myself because I've been just giving and helping, just doing a lot of stuff. And I also have to get myself ready because I'm going to have to work on being the nurse and healer to my husband because he's going to get hip replacement surgery the second week of June. And so I need to have myself strong enough and healthy enough to be able to focus on him, on helping him. So I'm going to be off of all social media completely for 3 weeks or more. And then on June 20th and 21st, which is the solstice, I'm doing a webinar. If you want to come and learn from me and Reverend Sarah Nash, who's a psychic medium, and also Rosemary Levesque, who's she's an animal communicator, psychic, and healer. We're going to be doing a 2-day webinar, and it's on my website, spiritualgrowthjourneys.com. If you go to spiritualgrowthjourneys.com, you'll see it says webinar. And we're doing a 2-day webinar. I'm doing a guided healing meditation on the summer solstice on Friday, the 20th of June. I'm going to be teaching a basic meditation class on how to connect to God and source and your higher self and all that. And then Sarah's going to be teaching about past lives. And I can't remember what Rosemary's teaching, but the curriculum is actually all posted on my website on the webinar page. They can go there and sign up. And it's very, very affordable for that 2-day webinar. We don't charge ridiculous prices because we're here to help people and pay the bills. We want to help everybody, but we need to pay the bills. But we don't charge ridiculous prices to people. So I hope you all will attend that, but I am going to be taking a break. So if you message me, email me, or anything, I won't be available via email or anything from May 10th until June 2nd. You won't be able to reach me. I'm going to be off grid, like completely off grid. So I just thought I'd put that out there.
All right. Okay. And I'd just like to make another reminder tonight at 8 o'clock Central Time, I will be doing a show with Jenny Lee, and we will see where things are at with Jenny at this point in time. So thank you so much, Kimberly, for your time and your energy and everything that you do for humanity. You're a beautiful soul. And
thank you. I think the same as you, Gail. So thank you as well.
And thank everyone out there for listening. You asked good questions. I'm happy that you're there, and we're going to do this together. So we're family, we're tribe, whatever you want to call it.
We are all family. Absolutely. Yep. We are all family.
All right. So bye for now. We'll see you again soon. Very soon, actually, tonight. And bye, Kimberly. Have a great time of healing yourself.
Thank you.
It's important to do that. Yeah. And helping your husband as well. So
yeah.
Thank you. And
we have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are, and like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers. Stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now. Don't look back now. Rise up, stand with each other. We destiny